Good evening and welcome to the Poetry of Justice Show with JackieRay Phillips on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. Now here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Poetry of Justice Show, what we do is we select topics that spark the interest and awareness of social diversity, ranging from arts, entertainment, and social justice at large, leaving our listeners thinking and saying,
YikesRadio.com.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, those are the sultry sounds of my mentor, the Mr. Kevin Nash. And you know, Mr. Kevin Nash is the owner of this proprietorship here at Accelerated Radio. And I always love to give him honor and respect because being in the game with Kevin Nash means that I'm doing something right, ladies and gentlemen. So shout out to Mr. Nash. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I have to give a very special shout out to Miss Lori G of Gingy Productions and Entertainment Company. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the benefactor right here, Lori G. How are you tonight?
Hey guys, I'm good. I'm good.
I just love to welcome her to the show, ladies and gentlemen. But then I've also got some more amazing sponsorship that we have for the show, and that is G Babies Catering, ladies and gentlemen.
G Babies.
G Babies. They just recently made an extra move, and now they are totally super legit. He just got his LLC. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chef Mac. This is my nephew, and I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to check this guy out on IG Live in the house, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube was popping. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out Chef Mac, GBABBIES.com, ladies and gentlemen. And then as we ride that wave, I want to go ahead and give a very special shout out to the man of steel of WMPJ Steelworks Incorporated, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to keep moving it on down to the ground, and I'm going to give a very special shout out to APS Muscle Cars, which is a sponsor here of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is a hot rod guru. He customizes anything you need to have made and done. He's got a brand new facility, ladies and gentlemen, right over in Signal Hill, California. High-end vehicle restoration. The guy is no joke. I want you to check him out. MEMO. You know what I'm saying? We got restoration. We do customization. So check him out, ladies and gentlemen. That's a mouthful here on the Poetry of Justice Show with Jackie Ray Phillips. YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. So welcome Saturday nights. I'm going to just take a round. We'll have fun. Rashid, how are you tonight, dear sir?
I'm doing just fine. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight because I have a very special guest. And so I'm just going to do the room properly. And then I'm going to go to our old heads. And then we're going to spend more time speaking to our very new special guest. I have two beauties in the house, Miss Sia. And I also say beauty to Mr. Eddie Blair because this person's heart and soul and energy and spirit is soulful. I think I'm gonna just start there. Soulful. So you're gonna we're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. So Miss Lori G, how are you doing tonight, Miss Benefactor?
I am doing well, thank you.
Yeah,
I am excited. This is going to be a night, I tell you.
But there's a Shalimar used to say, make it a night to remember.
It will be a night to remember. Yeah, most definitely. You know, we got the East Coast highly represented tonight.
Amen.
Highly represented.
Yeah, girl, we got the pretty lady. You see the pretty lady in the house? Hey. But then I want to go on ahead to our ham of the family, whom I adore. Yes. Mr. Big Tap of Big Tap Promotions and Consulting. How are you doing today, Tapper?
Oh, you know what? I'm laughing right now. You did not call me a ham.
Let me tell you how we.
Oh, it's on tonight. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's on now.
But let me tell you how to spell it, dude. HAMM. You're so much of a ham. You get two M's, player.
Double M.
You hear me, Killer? Two M's. Boom. Boom. You got a handful of Farmer John ham. Not even. You just.
You know what?
I'm gonna take it
a little further.
Yes,
I'm gonna take it a little further. all my friends here, all my friends on the job call me. They don't call me ham. They call me, you a hamburger. What's a hamburger?
See, I'm giving you love. This is old, this is old school Compton style. You know what I'm
It
saying?
sounds better than a hamburger.
You're such a
But
brat.
it's a
I'm just gonna
pleasure
put it
to
out
be
there.
here.
Gerald's a brat, everybody. We love him to pieces and we spoil him because he deserves to be spoiled. So how
He
about that? Does that work?
I think the
Look
ladies.
at Sia
Even
agrees.
Sia agrees.
Whatever way
Whichever
I'm
way
a
the
man,
wind is
whatever
blowing,
way-
we going.
Yes.
Yes. And then look at that, Big Eddie. I want to give a very special shout out because this lady here is an OG. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes all the time, I'm moving so fast and we doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? I want to give a very special, respectful love and shout out to Miss Chris Fisher. She's an avid listener of the show. She rolls with us like this is family because it is family. And so Chris,
Yeah.
you don't talk about, you be about it every week. No matter when we call, you there. So welcome, Queen. How are you tonight? You're in for a treat.
Thank you.
You're
I know
welcome.
I see two people I haven't never seen before, but hey, I'm good with that.
Yes.
I
You
can't
are
wait.
Definitely in for a treat.
Yes.
Because as you all can see, and I'm going to show to everyone who can kind of view in here, you may not see the specifics, but I have a page of notes, Mr. Eddie Blair, a page of notes for you, sir, when we had our pre-interview on Tuesday night. And I know you probably thought, oh, I'm just talking to Jackie and I'm just talking to Big Tap. But JackieRay Phillips was doing a lot of homework on you, my king. And I've got 1.5 pages worth of notes. And with the grace.
Is that a record?
That is, yeah. No, yeah. Big Eddie, you're Big Eddie.
It goes more than that.
I know it's way more than that, but that's just all I could, just to get ready for the show, just to make sure we bring everybody what we need. You know what I'm saying? Because we got YouTube live, we're live in the studio, we're on Instagram live, we're on Facebook live, we're on Zoom live. So whatever, we out here, we flying right now, Big Eddie. I just want you to know that. It's like,
should I put my seatbelt on?
Put it on the straight reel. Hold on to your butts. Put it on and hold on to your butts. Did you see Jurassic Park? Because you in for a funky good time.
I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not going to try to incriminate myself or disrespect nobody.
Incriminate.
You better not incriminate yourself. You know what time that is. So anyway, I'm going to start right here. This is when we got on the line. I talked to Big Tap.
Who's this other lady that you did not introduce? Or maybe I missed it.
Miss Chris Fisher and Miss Sia. King
Sia. Did you introduce Sia?
Queen Sia is here.
Oh, okay.
Tell everybody about yourself, my queen.
I am Sia.
Okay. Everybody's here. Okay, let's go.
Queen Sia, can you do me a favor?
Tell us a little about
tell us a little about yourself, please.
Oh, wow. I'm from
Thanks, Tom.
born and raised in New York City. Currently live out here in New Jersey, in Irvington. Just taking it one day at a time.
Okay, that's great. That's what I do too. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one day at a time. 'Cause I can tell you about that.
That's everything we can do, everybody, is have a funky good time. But I'm okay. So you guys ready for the train to go? You ready, Miss Sia?
Yeah.
You ready, Chris? Let's rock and roll. So this is when I got on the line with Eddie Blair. I'm gonna take it back a little bit further. I'm gonna take it back to Jackie and Big Tap and our emotional planning meetings that he and I tend to have with one another with the most love and respect. And so we were brainstorming, Lori G, and I was like, F it. I just put out there, we got to do something exciting. We were brainstorming, and I was like, I need to get Big Eddie. Can you give me Big Eddie on the show? Big Ed has a story, and we need to get Big Eddie on the show. And the reason why I keep saying Big Eddie, because I'm going to go somewhere with that, Mr. Blair, because we talked about that in the pre-show interview.
Right.
So Tap's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we can. I'm gonna do what I can do, and we're gonna get him. So I'm like, okay, great. And so by the grace of God, we got him. And so I'm super duper excited and thankful. But when you ladies and gentlemen are gonna see what I'm speaking about. So when we got on the phone, the first thing that came to my mind creatively was the anthology. I'm thinking about an anthology, Eddie, because you have a wealth of knowledge with regard to life, in my opinion, because you've had a different array of experiences from your athletic career, your acting career, your modeling career. And then, of course, I know you said you may get a little bit more gritty with us too, but you have done a great deal of work in terms of like your, again, being all the clubs and all the people you've been exposed to, and then just kind of being in the life, living that life, recovering from that life, fighting in the life, and then now saving those same lives in those experiences where you once dwelled. And so that's why I figure of an anthology of work. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's a multitude of experiences, and it is an evolution. And the Titan, I know Big Tap said the Titan of Teaneck, you know. You hear that, Queen Sia? The Titan of Teaneck.
I think some people might agree.
Yeah?
From Teaneck. I think some people, you know, you got haters everywhere you go. But I think some people might agree. I mean, I'm a lot older now. I'm like 60. 60 años. So I'm, you know, I think some people might agree with that. I mean, but I think I've always been the type of guy that's for the underdog.
Okay.
I think I've always been that type of guy. So from what I'm doing right now, as far as like trying to save lives and working in behavioral health and mental disorders, special needs kids, domestic violence, foster care, from what my experience had led me to, I think this was just something that was, I just walked into. You know, everybody talks about, yeah, people do stuff and then they write it as history, but you know, Black people walk right into history.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I got more questions, but I just go on where God leads me. And like tomorrow, I got to go to work.
Okay.
It's not work for me. I love it.
Right.
I love being there. You know what I'm saying? And I love being around that element, that population, that modality.
Yeah.
Eddie, what got you back into the work? Because I know you've had an extensive
My experiences, my life experiences growing up, playing the street, and didn't really have to be on the street because I came from a 2-parent home. I went to private school, but I couldn't do a lot of the things that everybody else could do growing up. So that led me to rebel against my parents. And later on, led me to rebel against authority. And I was big enough and strong enough and stupid enough to, you know, succumb to that world.
Right.
I think God, my mother's prayers and your mother's prayers saved me, though. I really do.
What would you say is one of the most roughest thing you did? The most.
Well, I
You
can't.
said-
Like I said before, I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Oh God, no. Okay.
But man, I've been okay. So let's take for instance. I'm kind of a big dude. They say, you know, I'm like 6'5", 300 and change.
Right.
But I got little puppies around me. I got little guys that's dangerous.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, some of them are home right now, and they got stuff that they did, and I won't go into detail.
Right.
But they home, and like we hang out for a minute. It's been a lot of years. The last one just came home after doing 26 years.
Wow.
So he's a well-known guy. You guys seen the movie, and he wasn't part of that movie, but he was there. And you know, I hang out with those guys, you know, when we go out to eat and stuff like that, just because old times. But when I go outside, I'll be like, okay, man, I'll see you later. I gotta go, because I don't know what's coming behind them. Even though I was in that element, I played ball. So a lot of them guys was with me because I played ball. I was with them because, you know, basketball is only 2 hours out the day.
Right.
So a kid grew up in New York. After 2 hours, you got the whole day.
Right.
And then, like, I live in Jersey. I'm from Brooklyn originally, but my family was Jersey in 1973. So when I was in New York, I'm staying in New York till like the last bus runner, unless they're gonna send me home with an OJ.
Mhm.
You know, OJ back then was OJ like a ride, like like a black car tap.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
See, I see you agreeing with that. See, well, you can relate to that.
Yeah, because that traveling is no joke.
yeah. So I live right across the bridge. I'm in Teaneck, New Jersey, home of the Isley Brothers. I play with their kids.
Wow.
Willie Jackson, what's the dude's name? King. That record Stand By Me?
Yeah.
I stand by.
Right. I grew up with his son.
Oh, okay.
Benny King.
Okay. Wow.
So I grew up, it had nothing to do with me. It's just we moved here in 1973 from Brooklyn. And, all these celebrities and all that would live around here. Frank Lucas used to live like two blocks down and around the block.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
No, I'm telling you something. I mean, that's
Yeah.
was around us. I mean, all the guys that we, like people in my circles used to idolize. Like, we grew up watching the Mac,
Right.
Superfly, Shaft. So we looked at that stuff like it was like some really big stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we'll get into it later because when you look at the kids and the way they look at like these rappers and all that stuff, I look at guys like that, like they ain't last 5 years, maybe 10 years. They made a lot of money, but they ain't really, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then look at them now.
Right, where they are.
So when I talk to kids, I do gang prevention too and all that stuff. When I talk to kids about drug dealing and all that stuff, like they can, if you can deal drugs, you're actually a CEO of your own company.
Right.
So math.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if that can be redirected in a certain way to whereas we can really educate these kids because we come from the authors of mathematics and science. And if more young black kids knew that, they do better in mathematics and science.
Showing up.
I'm sorry to take up all your time, Jack.
You're supposed to. This show is about Eddie Blair, so I want you to speak. But the Queen
Yeah,
C.
but I start talking and then I just keep going. You guys got these guys to help me and direct me because I appreciate you guys having me here. It's an honor for me to be here. And ain't no shame in my game. You know what I'm saying?
Don't worry, we got more questions. You ain't gonna get out of this that quick. You're gonna have to keep on talking. That wasn't enough. We got another hour and a half, buddy.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I got you.
You good. We good. We solid.
Eddie, I have a question for you. I know in the pre-interview you said something that has stuck with me, and it relates to, as Jackie talked about briefly, the nickname Big Eddie, right? And so in growing up, you always had to deal with your size. Can you share with us a little bit about how you dealt with that and how that may have influenced the path you took early on in your life?
I guess you could always say it did have an influence on the path I took, but I never was the type of person, like I said before, I'm always for the underdog. I never was the type of person to flex. You know what I'm saying? I just never was that type of person. I was always like, I don't know, maybe like a protector for underdog. You know what I'm saying? Like people will leave you alone because they know you know me, or people telling me that. I don't know. My thing is more like, I don't like bullies. I used to beat up bullies. Like I'll get in trouble beating up a bully. You know what I'm saying?
You bullied somebody?
Yeah, I'll do that. I never liked bullies, and most of the bullies is like little guys.
Damn.
I'm right or wrong, Jack.
That's deep. That's deep. What you listen at. You used to beat up bullies. That means you're under the category of you're nuts. You're crazy.
Well, Jack, you know what? I think you have a point there. Because I always tell people, I'm not playing with a 452. I always tell people that. But I'm not to the point where I'm out of control and I just want to destroy everything. You know what I'm saying? It's not that at all. I mean, I guess I could. Anybody can snap. Excuse me?
You have somewhat self-control of what you're doing.
For the right reasons.
For the right reasons.
It's just that I can't, anybody can black out, can't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
It don't matter what size you are. It might look like more animated when I'm doing it because it's my size, but Anybody could black out. I always try to, especially now working in the field that I'm working in now, I'm always in the stance of de-escalation.
Yes. Perfect.
Working in the clubs, Tap, you gotta de-escalate. You don't know who's around, right? It can't always be, yo, do what I say, I'm gonna yoke you up. No, let's talk, right? You said I can talk. Yeah, I can talk. But there comes a point where, okay, ain't no more talking. You know what I'm saying? So what happens then?
And you know what?
What?
I can vouch. He's not, Lori, he is not, he's telling you in the audience, he's telling us exactly what he says it's truth. Because I was there with him. And I worked at these clubs with him. And Eddie's presence and the way Eddie moves is exactly how he's saying. He's quiet, Lori, but he has a presence. And when we had to handle our business, I mean, I felt so secure being with this dude. And I'm a big dude, and I brought him in. But Lori, me and this man threw people out the window. And they had to hide me in the freezer of the club so the cops don't arrest me, Lord. You know, the dudes, you know, people get drunk. I'm gonna just say white fellas. Listen, white guys get drunk. They can't handle their liquor. You know, we worked at Stephen Baldwin. It was a club in Manhattan called Luan's.
It's a high power club.
High power. And
Jason talked about it. Julia Roberts had a surprise birthday party there. I mean, it was like that. It was not like, and not to be grandiose. In New York, in certain areas, you're going to see celebrities and all that stuff. And you're going to be closely connected with them, especially if you work in the capacity me and Tap.
Right.
These dudes, Lori, they saw a little bit of Eddie Blair in me. They said, Tap, something about you. You don't look, you know, you ain't amazingly big, but I got a feeling that you can hold your own. I want you to run security for me.
Yeah.
So they said, but I want you to bring in some intimidating guys to help you out because we're going to have some high-powered people in there, and we have to keep it cordial. So I brought Ed in. That was my first one, and I brought all these big dudes. Leonard, remember Big Leonard, Ed?
Yeah, Leonard, yeah.
I brought Leonard, and we just was a nice, you know, looking squad and stuff. You know what I mean? Ed, Leonard. As a matter of fact, Lori, you know Leonard. You met Leonard at the club in New York. And Ed was, you know, I just because Ed is my older brethren. You know, I let him run. You know, even though I brought him in, because Ed is older than me. That's one thing that people got to do, Ed. You believe me? Younger brothers got to you got to have a certain respect, and you got to let an older brother supersede when he's doing the same thing. You know, I wasn't egotistical. You had a presence, and you're older than me, so I just delinquish my authority, and I let you really run it.
But you're the man, Tap. You're the man.
But when me and Ed was taking care of business, Jackie and Lori, we had to literally throw these dudes out the club. And I mean, face first.
What year was that?
Everywhere.
What year was that?
This year was 2002, 2001 and 2002. And 2003.
It's good
Jay-Z and all the rappers used to talk about this club on their songs.
Saying. I know all the entertainers around that time.
Oh, Luan's was the hottest club in New York.
Yeah.
And Ed, and me and Ed, this club was so hot, right? Ed vouched for me. I'm not lying, guys. They had a line to the bathroom that was like, me and Ed would make they paid us a certain amount of money a night, right, guys? It was okay. It was a regular salary.
Cash money.
We would leave the club with an extra $1,000 a piece in our pocket for people just giving us $20, $50, $100 to jump the bathroom line.
To use the employee bathroom.
You know what I mean?
The bathroom line, the regular bathroom line was stretching from here or wherever you at to
Right.
California, and wherever you at in California, back here.
That's like
So it's a big line. So if you don't want to have to stand on the line, then Tap or myself are going, yo, you want to stand on the line? Give me $20, give me $30, I'll take it all night long. Just find it, and I'll take it. You don't have to wait on line. Can you imagine if you get like 50 people for $20 or $30 a piece?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And he came to me and said, we was getting them, right? And he came to me and said, yo, Ed, we work at the same hotel. And we're going to talk about after the hotel. Remember that, Jackie, they asked me. We work at the same hotel, Hilton Times Square.
Okay.
He's going on vacation. He was doing all the work before that. He said, Eddie, I'm going on vacation. I want you to do the bathroom thing and make sure you bring me back some money. Because if you don't bring me back no money, I'm never giving you anything again. You know I killed him.
Sorry I'm joining late, but this was in New York or New
Yeah,
York?
13th and 5th Avenue.
Oh, okay.
13th Street and 5th Avenue on the west side.
Okay.
Hey, Shelly.
But Eddie, I
His
gotta.
name is Luwan.
I have a
The
question.
club name was Luwan.
Okay.
Jay-Z
Okay.
talked about it.
Okay.
You know, a lot of celebrities. Stephen, what's his name? Stephen Baldwin owned it, and a couple other guys.
And you guys did the security for that?
Yes. And Tap brought me in.
Okay, I understand. We've had some security here in LA too that we kind of know, and
Okay.
different club circles that have promoted and also done some security in some clubs. So
Well, promotion is the money.
oh yeah.
Once you get to follow it and all that. But if you have the right security with you, that'll
Right.
keep your party continue. Like you can't, like I always tell people, doing security is not about like beating people up.
No, it's not.
Because
Because that liability
is
is
club and I'm beating people up. They're not gonna come to the club.
That's true, because that liability insurance ain't no joke. For somebody who is a security owner for a club,
Right.
just to be honest, I've dated someone for years that owned a security company that did it for clubs in LA, and that liability insurance is no joke.
So you have to have the right personnel to be able to. That's why I said I've always been kind of on the de-escalation side. Like even the guy that got thrown at the window that Tap said, I went down there and helped him out. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, you don't want no dead person in the alleyway of the club that you're working at, or even
And like I said, it's going to cost you. If you are an owner of a security company, it's going to cost you money. So you have to learn de-escalation skills. So I definitely did.
And that's Shelly. Shelly, I ain't seen you in a long time. It's good to see you, babe.
I had a monarch in my family pass away. My grandmother, which was like
sorry to hear that. My condolences.
Thank you. So it took me a while to recuperate and get things together, but I'm back. Thank you.
It's good. Good.
Well, I just got here.
Thank you.
And I'm honored.
What up, Tap?
And Ed, up top, yo, Ed.
Yeah.
Up top, we got my man, G. Lou.
Hey, G. Lou.
Who also has a radio show and doing a lot of big things, man, and good brother, man. G. Lou, he was the first to put me on to this, him and Jack. And they had their show, and and now he's back visiting her because he from LA, but he live in Atlanta. Gee, this is my man. Ed.
Good evening, people of the chat. Good evening, Eddie.
Hello.
Homie.
Good
Good
evening. How
evening,
are you?
Kelly.
I'm used to
Chris.
seeing you at home on the camera.
Hey.
It's
Right,
Shelly.
right, right. But I'm here live in the flesh tonight. I had to come to the show and
All right.
be a part of this
Support.
beautiful show. So I'm glad they welcomed me. Shout out to JackieRay and Lori G and my man Big Tap.
Let
Yeah.
It's an
everybody know
honor to be here.
everything you do.
It's an honor to be
Everybody,
here.
you do so much, so much.
All
Do
right.
you, you want to let everybody know what you do, Mr.
Hey,
G.
you
Lou?
know, I am Mr. G. Lou from the world famous G. Lou Show on Blog Talk Radio every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night. Shout out to my cast as well, Big Floss, the boss, Hank Norman, and Queen Jean. But I'm here tonight just to represent for the G. Lou Show and to be a part of the POJ Show. It's long overdue, and I'm here in LA, so it was only right, you know, that I come in and be a part of everything. So what's going on tonight?
Let me ask you, G. First of all, you in LA, how come, where you staying at, dog?
Man, I'm like all over, but I'm in where are we at? And
Did you try to get the hookup? I hooked you up.
Nah, Tap. I'll get with you about that later, but everything kind of it was some issues, but not on your part. But it was a little late, so everything's good though. I'm good, but thank you, Tap.
Yeah, you just surprised me, man. I said, dang.
Nah. It's all good, Tap. Thank you though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to introduce you to Miss Sia. Queen Sia, ladies and gentlemen, is joining us directly.
Queen Sia.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing,
Hey.
Queen? Queen Sia is joining us from the East Coast, New Jersey, in the house tonight. So she can tell us a little bit about what's going on, Shelly C. You know what I'm saying, on that East Coast land that you love so much, my girlfriend.
I love to visit the East Coast.
What
I look like you're on the beach now.
I live in the West, but I love to visit the East.
Which part?
I want to ask you something. What part? I'm sorry, go ahead.
What part of what?
Yeah, which part of the East?
We've been to New York. I've been to New Jersey. We've visited Manhattan. We've visited Queens.
Tri-state area.
Yeah.
Tri-state. Yeah.
Where are you from in LA? I mean, California.
Los Angeles.
Okay.
Los
I used to live in LA.
Los Angeles, west side of Los Angeles.
Oh, the west side.
Yeah, she on the west side. Shelly over there on the bougie side. She over there.
I know what that's
money
all
at.
about.
She where the money at, y'all. She
I
where
was there in the 80s.
Now, really, it's getting kind of crazy over here. But
I was there in the 80s.
She over there on the bougie side. On the real bougie side.
Not really.
Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Venice Beach was hot, though. Yeah, I lived in Venice Beach. I was 3
You
blocks
should love
from
Venice Beach, Eddie. You
Yeah,
got
I went to Long Beach State. They kicked me out after a little while, but I went to Long Beach State.
My daughter went to
LA, Marina Del Rey. I used to run from San Juan Boulevard to the Westminster Pier and back in the soft sand.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I live 3 blocks from the beach.
All right.
I love California. Oh, I love California.
That's what I'm talking about. I gotta run on the wet sand though. I can't, Eddie, I can't do the soft.
But I was balling back there, so I was trying to get my legs strong.
Yeah. You will get it.
That's what it was.
Strong in the soft sand.
You know, I had to wait what they call Muscle Beach. Like they had the old weights then. That was like the real gladiator stuff.
Yeah.
Not the stuff they got now.
Ain't nothing like riding your bike on the beach on the west side.
Yeah.
Nothing like riding your bike. The peace of mind.
Beautiful country out there in California.
Yes.
No question about
Peace
it.
of mind is
Where you at now, Eddie?
G.
What up?
My man was a prime example, G. His game was 8. He had the 8 game in basketball, brother. I'm talking about the 8. He was recruited all over the United States. He went out there.
I won't say that.
But why was you what made you go out of all those offers to Fresno?
Long Beach. Well, okay, so this will happen. I was sitting in my living room in my mother's house. And I still live in this house. I take care of my mother. I took over the house and all that. And my mother's 88 years old. I take care of her. My wife is here.
Blessing.
I was sitting in my living room, and my family calls me Leslie. That's my middle name. My name is Edward Leslie Blair, and I'm the third, right? So the phone rang. We're talking like 1981, right? So the phone rang, and then he's like a big brother to me. His name is Shahid. Y'all might know who he is if you're from LA. He's closely connected with the Nation of Islam. And then another guy named Michael Young. He's an old Italian guy. He's from Brooklyn. They called me, and I'm sitting here with my friends, and we watch TV, and we got a game, a summer league game that day. He said, yo, Eddie, the money is in Western Union. Here's the code, and it's a ticket for you to fly out here to LA the next day. So I said, okay. So I did that. And then I came to LA. They had a limo for me and all that. And they were driving me. We talked about this before, Jackie. They were driving me through Compton and Linwood and Watts. And he said, telling me, the driver saying, yo, this is the ghetto. And I looked and I was like, yo, man, you can't even spell ghetto. Because it wasn't a ghetto like the way I looked at it. Mm-hmm. I recognized later what you mean, but I'm used to like tall buildings and like burned out buildings and streets that, you know, you don't want to, you think, even if you walk by, you're like, nah, I'm not going down there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when I saw Inglewood and Carson, and I lived in Carson first, right? I lived by Carson Mall. They had some nice like houses over there. They had a nice high school and all that. But when I really got a chance to really get involved in LA, and then that's when I met like some Crips and some Bloods, because some of them played ball too. So we played like the LA Summer League, was in Loyola Marymount and all that stuff. That's how I got to like to meet a lot of them. And that's part of my experience in LA. But I mean, I can go on and on. The LA experience for me, I will never forget. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
You always tell me that you would always call it the Wild Wild West.
It's the Wild West because
you tell me it's the Wild Wild West.
You just have to be aware.
I think I'm hearing firecrackers.
You have to be alert.
Nighttime, I think it's firecrackers. Those motherfuckers are shooting. And then you hear the helicopters. The police come get you. It ain't just coming by land. They come in the air too. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that out here.
What took you down that wrong path, Ed? Was it LA or New York? What city
New York,
was?
Definitely New York. Those people I just mentioned to you, they were trying to get me out of New York, I think, because of that. And even though they know it was an element out there, you know, I didn't really know anybody out there, even though I got to know people really quick. But I think that's what it was for me. It's always, God has always been sending people in my path to try to help me, whether I received the help or not. And it's like I said before, it's my mother and your mother's prayers that saved me to why I'm even here right now. So I gotta always pay tribute, you know what I'm saying, to that. It's not me, why I'm even here. I mean, it's a blessing to even be here talking to you guys. There's a lot of experiences that go into my life. I got a friend of mine who committed a murder in 1979, did like 27 years of prison, comes home. You know, a lot of people get dope habits when they're in prison. You know what I'm saying? And he comes home, he's on dope, but he's doing okay. He's working a job. And after 2 years of being home, he called me, and I'm walking through the Joe Roger Bridge bus terminal. He said, "Yo, Ed." I was like, "What's up?" Because some people call me Big Ed, some people call me Easy because of basketball. But he's like, "Yo, E, what up?" I was like, "What's up with you?" He's like, "Yo, man, they laid me off." I said, "What you mean they laid you off?" He said, "They laid me off." So now we're talking to somebody that's been home 27 years, and he got 2 years in. And I said, "So it's all right, G. You collect unemployment or you get another job." He said, nah. They know I still got the artillery, right? I'm like, nah, don't do it. So then he started robbing banks, right? So they start robbing banks. So you know when we rob a bank, feds get involved. So he sees the feds looking at him, watching him after he done robbed a couple banks, got away with it. gets in a car accident, crashes, hits his head. They got to take him to the hospital and take his skull off because his brain's swelling. He's sitting in the hospital where I work at right now in behavioral health and psych. He's sitting there right now. He's paralyzed on his whole right side. I go up and talk to him sometime. And we talk about stuff. You know, we grew up together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you could say, oh, it ain't going to happen to me. It can happen to you. I mean, that's just one story. It can happen to you based on the situation.
If I can say something, I have an uncle who, you know, we all grew up, because my family, we're from West Africa.
Okay.
My mother, God rest her soul, she's from Sierra Leone.
Okay.
So is my dad. You know, they call it the land of the diamond, right?
Right.
But he has a brother, and his brother came from West Africa and lived here in the States for years.
Right.
He winds up getting into some altercation with his wife, and he loses his mind and shoots her. He shoots his mother-in-law.
Wow.
Now here's a gentleman who had a family, had a job working in Wall Street,
right,
had another job doing FedEx, trying to keep up with the bills, keep up with the family, just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? In the tri-state, you know how the tri-state is, rent is all out of control. You know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do and feed your family and come home and still try to keep it sane all together.
Right.
It can explode. And just like that when you don't have it together. And that's what happened to him. And it's always so hard with us Black folks trying to just keep it together. You know, we don't have the luxury of working from home or things like that, like most other people do have the chance to do. But with him, you know, you never think of somebody that would have it all put together can end up in that situation. You know, and that's how I even got into the field of social service and working with behavioral health myself. Right. You know, and I worked, I did a little bit of volunteering from here and there. Lori, if you can hear me, I did a little bit of, you know, Eddie, I'm sure you get what I'm saying. I've done like volunteer, because sometimes you work in social service and you work in volunteer. And if you really have that drive to want to help for people, then you can see yourself doing this career long term. You know what I mean? So because of that experience I had with my uncle, I ventured into that field and I've never looked back. I've just been talking to people, helping people left and right. But don't think for a moment it can happen to you.
Yes, right. That's right.
Okay.
You know, Eddie, Eddie, I have a question for you. It's Lori G. You've talked about that you ended up somehow on the wrong path, right? That you grew up with a two-parent family, and there wasn't a need for that. I'm sitting here wondering, like, when did you derail, and how did you derail?
I was always in, I guess, for lack of a better word, rebellious stage, because I couldn't do everything that you guys could do. And I want to know
Eddie,
why.
what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Look and see, everybody's perplexed. What
my parents were Seventh-day Adventists. Right?
I know
Seventh-day Adventists, you can't eat pork.
What?
You can't go to the movies.
You can't do nothing.
You can't be out on Friday night because it's Friday night sunset to Saturday night sunset.
Right. You can't do nothing.
And then I'm going to private school. Don't get it twisted. I'm studying Bible. I'm getting A's in Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because I love the stories. I found out later that all those stories are about people that look like us. That was enlightening. But as a kid, you know, you're impressionable and you couldn't do a lot of stuff. So then you're being challenged. Oh, you can't do it. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't go out. You can, you know, the girl's like, you know, you get with the girl. She's like, okay, well, see me on Saturday. But I can't come out on Saturday, Tap.
You couldn't get the goodies on Saturday, huh, Eddie?
So I had to like sneak out on Saturday, man, and take that ass whooping when I get back. And then my father was bigger than me. So I took the ass whoopings.
Yeah, but what she was saying, like, and then what made you go down that path where you realize that you're not in control no more? Like
Right.
The drugs really made me
Just to
realize.
let you know, Ed, I think you're aware of, brother, from the age of 20 to 26, I was a basehead. Did I explain that to you before? Did you know that, brother?
Yeah, you told me. I remember you telling me something like that before, because when I met you, I was in recovery. My clean date is June 6, 1999.
Excuse me, what is beige head? What is that?
No, I was a drug addict.
I can't deal with you, Shelly. This is wild.
Base head, base head.
You say base
Some
head?
You said base head. Base head.
Oh, I know what base head is. Okay.
Some
It
people
sounded like you said beige head, like
Yeah,
become a
that's what
beige.
I'm sorry.
Some people, I know what a base head.
Yeah.
I
Some
don't
Yeah,
people
but you never heard beige.
I wasn't smoking crack, y'all.
Can you go?
Meg thought the same thing, dog. Meg thought the same thing, Shelly.
Hold on.
There's some of that coke do come out beige, though.
Okay, I got you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Sometimes when you cook it do come out beige.
Talking
I mean,
about
what
that.
I was doing, Shelly, a lot of people.
It do.
This show is wild.
I had the luxury of not buying the synthetic crack. I had my cooking hat on in the kitchen. I was throwing cocaine in the microwave for 5 minutes, bringing it out. I was basing it up. I was in the house sometime. I was in the house, Shelly, for
5 minutes.
2 days straight, 3 days straight. You know, stuff.
So are you saying that you was Chef Boy RD?
Yeah, I was Chef Boy.
Wait. In the microwave.
Yeah, he was cooking.
Yeah.
But if he was in there for 5 minutes, if he's cooking coke up in 5 minutes, based on my experience, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I was there. If you got coke in a microwave for 5 minutes, that's a lot of coke.
Oh my Lord.
No, I told you, Ed, I was up for 2 days. Sometimes I thought I was down in my basement for like a couple hours. I was down there for 2 days, G.
Oh Lord.
You know I mean?
A basement for 2 days?
He thought it was 2 minutes.
2 days without eating.
That's a beige.
So,
Or wash your ass, or anything.
The people that was with me, we wasn't having conversation.
What you was listening? What you was listening? You was listening?
We was listening and looking on the floor.
They're coming, right? They're coming.
Yeah, and they coming, yeah.
Real base head.
Wait a minute.
Tap, we need to feature you on a show. My
Okay.
No, Lord.
I know.
you bringing us all these other people, my brother. We need to talk about you.
Okay.
What's your ass next week? Ready Monday night.
And I was
It's your free interview, dude.
I was still smoking when I was with Eddie.
With who?
Like what's up?
With Eddie, when I was working for Eddie Murphy, I was still smoking.
Eddie Murphy, not me. Not Eddie Blair. Eddie Murphy.
Oh, Eddie Murphy. Okay, get the
Look at Shelly, stop. You was when you was dealing with Eddie?
He wasn't smoking. He wasn't even drinking.
I knew Charlie though. I used to see
Charlie was getting
Eddie live up the hill from me. Inglewood. I knew Charlie
Murphy.
Murphy. I knew him. Charlie used to be in the room with me. Me and Charlie used to be in the meeting.
Yes, Shelly C. Eddie Murphy.
Charlie is a funny motherfucker.
I'm not dealing with
I think it's funny that Eddie.
I want to get the Eddie straight.
Charlie looked like
Okay,
him.
I know we're getting on track. Sorry.
All right. So Eddie, I have another question. Okay.
Am I answering your questions okay, by the way?
You are doing a marvelous job.
Yes,
You're
yes.
having such great conversation.
Yes.
I do have another question. Again, this is Lori G. You know how I just get on a tangent, right? So I'm wondering, your Seventh Day Adventist, right? There's so many rules. You like, forget these rules. I'm gonna start wowing out. When do you realize, ooh, I have a problem? I am addicted to cocaine.
Oh my God.
It wasn't. When I realized I was addicted, I probably was in my early 20s, but I didn't care because I was having a ball.
Me too.
I was having a ball. I mean, when I do my groups, I mean, I use for pretty much maybe 30 years. You know what I'm saying?
30 years? Wow.
Yeah, I got clean. I'm 60 years old. I got clean June 6, 1999. So June 12th, I'm going to be 39.
All right.
I'm born 1960, right?
Right.
So after that, that's when I got clean and sober. I don't know how I did it. I think, I just think it was time. I started like seeing things a different way, you know. But my thing wasn't, I don't think I really had a problem with using, even though I used every day. I think my problem was crime, the lifestyle that went along with using.
The crime?
Yeah, the manipulation, the deceit.
Okay, what type?
I think that's what I had became, to the point where, you know, I don't know. Okay, so who's here?
Me. So what type of?
Have you guys ever heard of?
All kind of questions because she just ignorant.
So what type of crime is it? Was it robbing banks? And I don't want you to incriminate yourself. I'm just saying, when you say get involved.
Yeah, I'm trying to get money, but check this out. Do you guys know what bullpen therapy is?
Oh no, I don't know what that is.
Have you ever heard of?
I don't know what that is. What is that, Eddie?
Bullpen therapy is when you first get arrested and you're sitting in the bullpen and you're waiting to get processed before you go up on the unit. And that's the time where you're sitting there and you're thinking like, damn, if I would have ran like maybe 2 blocks more faster, maybe I would have got away. Or maybe if I'd have turned left or right 2 blocks before, I would have got away. But I'm here now. So now what am I gonna do now? And then when you get your charges, or you know what that is, and you know what they carry, then you got to work on that in there. You can get bailed out. A lot of young cats, they be like, oh, I'm getting bailed out. I did that before. But why would I bail out? I'm going to fight from the inside. I told him, the last time I got something, I told my wife, I said, yo.
Got something? What you mean got something?
What'd you say?
You said got something. Can you elaborate, please? I'm sorry. I need to ask you that. What do you
elaborate on that something?
You mean sentence? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, when you see what you facing.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
When you see what you facing, like minimum mandatory sentences for whatever
got it.
the statute is, for whatever that. When you get in the system, you kind of know. But then when you sitting there, you don't know what they're gonna come to you with.
Right. You don't know what kind of sentence, what you're gonna get. So you get.
You don't know what they're gonna offer you first.
Right. Okay.
So when they make that offer, it's not just based on the crime you committed. They do a whole evaluation on you from your whole history, and even everybody you associated with.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Were all of your arrests related to crime and not related to drug use?
Most of my arrests are related to crime. I'm not really. I never really got caught with drugs like that. Maybe possession. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
So Eddie, are you saying they're connected? Like the drugs that you were taking and the crimes that they were definitely connected, or do you think?
Definitely connected, because that's how I got my money.
Okay.
That's how I got my money.
Gotcha.
That's how I got money. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get that money to do that.
Hey, so Eddie.
Oh, go ahead.
Look, quick question. So you said when you were sitting in the bullpen or whatever, and you had that thought of, well, maybe if I had ran a little bit faster or went this way, I might not have got caught. Did you ever have a thought when you were doing it? I know you had that thought after the fact, but before you got caught, can you remember anything that might have happened that said, don't do it? Or, how
all the
there's
time.
always
All the time. I just didn't listen.
No,
you're all the time. All the time. I just didn't listen.
So to elaborate on what Chris said, when you got that signal or don't do it, where do you think that was coming from? Do you think that was coming from your subconscious? Do you think that was coming from God, the universe? Where do you think that was coming from?
Yeah, subconscious, God, because I know right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't raised like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was just for influence on the street that I wanted to, be like, because I wanted to be accepted as a youngster.
Got it.
And being big for my age and all that, everybody gassed me up. I allow people, when I talk about this in group, I always allow people to validate who I was, who I am.
Yeah.
Till I came to realizations that, you ain't nobody, you just somebody God loved.
Yeah.
Bullets don't bounce off you.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you the story, right? Why I stopped. Mine had to be a devastating one because why you doing it, I'm quite sure Ed will vouch with me. You so strong, you a young man, you feel as though you invincible. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. What happened was I was mixing some good Shriller, some good weed. I was lacing it with some coke, and I was doing you're never supposed to lace cocaine together,
with nothing.
Anyway, what happened is I was in my apartment in New York. All of a sudden, I start getting this funny feeling on my shoulder. I'm like, what the hell was this? And all of a sudden, after that, my breathing got funny. I fell out. I crawled to the bathroom. I looked in the mirror. My face was white as a crayon. I said, I'm having a stroke. Now I'm panicking. I'm thinking I'm dying.
Wow.
The thing about it is,
it's not funny. It's not funny.
Since August 3rd, 1998. August 3rd, 1998 was the last time. So look, I got on my socks and my underwear. Now, you know me, I'm a guy, I want to live, because I come from a good family, good background. Every day I got high, I felt guilty about it and went back and did it again. Every day, because, I would think about, my brothers, my sisters, my mother, what I was doing. But I still did it. We young, we do it. We think we're invincible, we still do it. But when I OD'd that night, and I ran, first of all, I knocked on, my neighbors will help me. I'm having a heart attack. My man said, get away from my door before I call the cops. That's over. Okay, so now I got to go to the hospital on my own. I walked from 44 Rudy's Bar. I lived over top of Rudy's. Jackie and Lori is familiar with Rudy's.
I love me some Rudy's.
I love Rudy's.
I walked from
all the liquor
Rudy's
you
Bar to St. Clair's Hospital, 52nd and 9th, in my underwear and socks.
Damn.
I was so scared in my underwear and socks, dude. I'm having
That's a long way.
That's a long way.
I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack, bro. But I just, what happened? My head started pinging, bing, bing, and I don't know. I guess I don't know what it was.
That's good shit.
So I'm explaining to the lady. I'm explaining to the lady what's going on. She said, well, I said, man, please help me. I'm having a heart attack. She said, wow. What did you take? I said, I was doing cocaine. She said, how much cocaine did I said, man, please help me. I can't breathe. She said, relax. She said, how much was you doing? I said, I had about an 8-ball for that night.
Oh my God.
And she literally told me, if you was having a heart attack, you wouldn't be sitting here talking. Shut the hell up and sit down. And that's when I looked at her like, you died. I thought that whole time I was dying, so I ran outside.
Wow.
Yo, check it. Check this out. She asked me, she said, you ever heard of Len Bias?
You heard of what, Tap?
Len Bias, the basketball player.
Have I ever heard of Len Bias?
Okay.
I have.
Len Bias was a basketball player who was in good shape. He said, you look like you in good shape Why would you be doing this? And she was giving me a lecture. I said, man, please get me the doctor, please. But anyway, I realized for years, I was having panic attack. That scared me. But guess what, guys? I never went back to the cocaine. August 3rd,
That's good.
you know, never went back.
I can't do it.
You're having a heart attack.
It took that to stop me. But I do drink, and I tried to smoke weed. I can't even smoke weed no more because I get paranoid.
Yeah,
Wow.
ain't no
I
joke.
can't even, and you know what? I miss the weed. I wish I could smoke because weed was nice.
I understand.
But-
I concur.
But
I say
weed,
something?
I
Can I
can't.
say something about the weed?
Huh?
Jackie,
Go ahead,
Lori,
Eddie. Tell us about the
can I
weed.
say something about the weed?
Absolutely. Tell us.
So I work with substance use disorders and mental disorders, right? I also do adolescents, right? IOPs for adolescents. And like now what they do, Tap, in high school, in the public schools, if they have a suspicion of use, they'll send you to me, right?
Mhm.
And then you have to do IOP. So 3 days a week, 3 hours a day after school, whatever, right? I take your urine. So if I take your urine and I send it to the lab, tomorrow I'll go highlight Tapper. Yo, I'm seeing traces of fentanyl in the weed, bro.
Wow.
Traces of fentanyl. I'm seeing it in the weed.
That's scary, isn't it?
Okay, now when you talk about that fentanyl in the weed, are the inhalers know that this fentanyl, or is this just a like kind of slipping it in there? We're gonna.
You know how when we was growing up, they'd be like, "My man got the best shit." Right? They doing the same thing. They don't know. They're not physicists. You know what I'm saying? They're not scientists. They smart, but they just trying to like do something to get away with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like I was trying to do.
I know we have.
I always praise myself because I always got away.
You know, that's a question I have for you, Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of shows on the POJ show that talk about addiction and recovery and all of that. But not many of those stories that we hear talk about 30 years of addiction without like really dire consequences. So can you describe addiction for us? What did your addiction look like? Sounds like you were quite functional.
What does my addiction look like, or what does addiction look like?
What I think I know what addiction
What
looks
does
like.
30
But what
years of
does
addiction look like?
there you go, G-Lin. What does 30 years of addiction look like?
30 years of addiction looks. It can look a lot of different ways depending on the individual. Me coming from where I came from, I was always able to bounce back. Plus, I was an athlete all my life, so I might not look like I was a bum, or because first of all, and I tell this is my group too, we're getting away from the terminology dope fiend, crackhead, weed head, alcoholic. Those connotations and words have negative stigmas attached to them. You know what I'm saying? No, I didn't. Yeah, a little bit. Give me a little bit more. No, not yet. They have negative stigmas attached to them. It's actually, the clinical term is a substance use disorder. It has to do with the brain.
Woo.
Now, there's a psychological order that goes along with it. But what happens is, can I talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I'll talk about this a little bit in the interview too. And this is some science. It's a little science. Because I talk to the doctors. I'm very congenial. I talk to the doctors in my hospital I work at. You know, we be having lunch. I guess they find me interesting and stuff like that. We talk, and I find it interesting too, and I be picking their brain. Mm-hmm. So they told me, Eddie, what happens is your brain produces a chemical naturally. It's called dopamine that makes you happy, right? So like, let's say you get approved for a car loan, right? So you're gonna feel happy because you got approved and you can get the loan, right? You have to put the money down, whatever. The next day, you're not gonna be as happy. You know what I'm saying? But when you start using substances, your brain stops producing that chemical that it produces naturally. And what happens is, depending on how long you've been using, depending on how much you use, what you use, and how often you use it, that's when the brain starts going haywire, and that's when you start to see the psychiatric symptoms. So that's when PTSD, ADHD, bipolar, depression, anxiety, that's what starts to come into play. Because you start to see life and say, well, Daniel, wait a minute, I did all these years. Damn, I don't have any money. Oh, I don't have a job. Oh, I don't have any skills. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where people start to look at. Like, I can sit down with a patient, and I'll be sitting down with one tomorrow, and I'll do a biopsychosocial. A biopsychosocial is where I do a whole assessment. I ask you a lot of questions. Say about your child life. You know, have you ever been abused? Are you a sexual abuser? You know, I have to rely on what the patient reports, but you can kind of tell when you're sitting there, because I'm kind of trained in a certain way, and they're trained to lie to us anyway. So I can kind of tell, I can't read their minds, I can kind of tell. I don't diagnose, but I kind of know what direction to kind of guide them in. You know what I'm saying? So when, you know, that's what people have to realize. It's not your fault. When you're using substances, you're actually infecting yourself with a chemical imbalance, and you don't even know it. And you don't even know it. So that's what starts to happen. And the only way you can actually treat that and work on that is you have to talk about how you're feeling. Because if you can't talk about how you're feeling, then you're suppressing those feelings in here. In here.
Yes. In the gut.
So every time you use substances, you're suppressing those feelings, and then it goes so much and so far and goes so long, it all of a sudden explodes. And then you end up in a detox.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So it's deep.
But check this out though, Ed. A guy like me, right? I suppress so much feelings, and that when I'm ready to get it out, man, I chase everybody out the damn way. No, nobody want to be around me. You know what I mean? You can't tell people about. People don't want to hear. You know, say I had my problem. I was a drug addict.
Right.
Then I try to tell my brother. I try to tell Ed. I try to tell Lori, Jackie, G. Lou, C, and everybody. I try to preach to y'all. You know, y'all shouldn't do this because I really love y'all and I feel that.
Right.
But y'all be like, man, I can't be around this dude, man. This dude, you know, you got to live your life. How do you deal with that? You know what I mean?
It's hard. It's hard. You know, like you got some people that suffer from what they call pre-contemplative behavior. Pre-contemplation is like, you know, oh, it's not me, it's you. You're the reason why. Because they always want to shift the blame. Because they always play the victim. You know what I'm saying? You know, people do. You know, we're human. We're human, right? So they always want to make it like, no, it's not me. It's not my fault. No, I wasn't doing that. And you know they was doing it, right? Those are some of the psychiatric symptoms that you have to address. And what I tell patients all the time, I never tell patients, and I tell them in group, I never tell them, oh, don't get high because it's not good for you. Everybody's telling them that. What I try to do, I have a certain ways and techniques that I kick it with them, and I get them to tell me what's going on in their life. We ain't talking about getting high, because getting high, that's not even a symptom to the actual problem. That's something I do because I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel that pain.
Underlying condition.
Excuse me?
Yes. I said, yes, there is an underlying condition. Like there's a root to the problem, like the iceberg. You can see the top. Yes.
That's what I tell all patients that come through me in detox when I do groups, see them in hallways, whatever. Forget about how much you used, who you used with, what you did to use, all that. Nobody cares. That's history. Yesterday's history. Tomorrow's the mystery. Let's take care of today. We ain't getting high today, right? Okay, so what we gonna do? How are we gonna prepare for tomorrow? Are you gonna seek treatment? We want inpatient, we want short term, you want long term. We got a job, you got a wife and kids, you want child support, you got IOP, you want to go to IOP. I mean, you know, and then we'll go from there. And then they can't really have enough time with me to kick it with me because I'm a detox, right? And I work in admissions and on the unit. Like if you came inpatient and I was the counselor there on the inpatient unit, you would have me at least 5 days a week. That's the days that I'm off. or if I go on vacation. But a lot of patients don't really have that much with me. And sometimes I got to keep it real with you. And I know it's being recorded, but I don't care because ain't no shame in my game. Sometimes the people I work with is sicker than the patients.
In what regard? Can you elaborate a tad, please?
You know, this field that I'm in, you got to have a special stomach. Like, you can't be judgmental. You can't be like somebody who feels that they're like head and shoulders above anybody. I mean, for me, I look at them like, shit, you ain't no different than me. You ain't no different than me, man. I ain't no different than you. I've been there, bro. I know exactly what you feel. Mm-hmm. But I had to wait. It had to come a time when I felt I needed somebody to tell me what to do. Not ask me. Tell me what to do. I'm 6'5", damn it, 300. I'm 300 something pounds. And I don't like nobody telling me what to do. Tell them, Tap. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you what to do. Run them pockets. All right? But I had to have somebody tell me what to do, and I had to be able to follow those directions. And when I started to follow those directions, I started seeing things. And then I started saying, wait a minute, let me keep doing this. And I kept doing it to the point where I guess where I'm at now. And I still have to work on that every day. I still work on myself every day.
Eddie, what was do you remember or recall the event that allowed you to say, I'm going to have to listen to someone else and I no longer want to be addicted?
When they came to me and they said, yo, they came and said they can offer you 20. They said they offer you 20. I said, 20 what? 20 years.
Wow.
That's when I said, you know what? If you let me out of this one, you don't have to ever worry about me. No more.
I have a question for you, Eddie. Sorry I'm late, but I was listening to your story, and you know, many people think that drug addiction or addiction. So I'm in the hospital. I work in the hospital.
Me too.
So this opioid crisis that's going on. So in the hospital, we really try to make sure our treatments are not of opioids, because we know that if we send them home on it, you know, the addiction rate is pretty high to it.
Very high.
Are you saying that there's a certain amount that willpower and the determination is strong, if it's strong, that the addiction, you can stop just like that?
No, I'm not saying that. But what I am, you brought up a good point, because a lot of people talk to me about willpower and determination. Okay, first of all, you don't really have to have willpower. All you have to do is be willing. Right? Now, the determination factor is something else. So in my groups, I'll say, anybody ever been on the street broke? And everybody raise their hands. Yeah, I've been on the street broke. All of a sudden you come with an idea, now you got a pocket full of money. Right? Well, that's in you anyway. The drug ain't make you do that. You can do that on a positive note. Even the young kids that's selling crack and selling dope and getting money, drive around nice cars, got houses, all that stuff. They are CEOs of their own company, but if they can't have the direction to be able to cultivate that, because you got to know math. You got to know math. I don't care who you are. If you're selling drugs, if you're doing drugs, you know math. But if we learn how to educate, especially our youth, that the authors of mathematics and science came from people that look like them, they probably do better in mathematics and science. That's what the Jews do. That's what they try to do. It didn't come from them, it came from us. A lot of times with this opioid crisis, and you said something real profound, and it may put me in the mind when you talk about in the hospital, and you talk about, because see, a lot of patients that I come, they've been prescribed opiates because they might have had an accident, or they've been prescribed medications because you know how these are coming on with ADHD, you know, they got PTSD, bipolar. They're prescribing medications for these kids, and the pharmaceutical company said 20 years ago, yo, prescribe medications for these kids. It's not harmful. A kid can't stand still in his seat in class because they're interested in what you're saying, teacher.
Yeah,
How come you stay here and play PlayStation for hours?
Yeah, but
But he can't sit still in class.
I think what happened with the whole opioid addiction is that there's only a certain level of pain tolerance your body can take. And like you were mentioning dopamine earlier, those narcotics, they bind to your dopamine receptors,
Right.
to give you euphoria, pain relief, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what happens is when you're sitting in front of somebody's pain and you're trying everything that you can, and then the opioid will work, that's what you give them, not thinking that it's going to cause an addiction, or not thinking outside the hospital they're going to seek it more and all that. We're trying to control the pain in the hospital. We may give it for 7 days, but there's an under-market world out there that if you like it, you can get more of it. And I think that's what's causing the crisis. I think in the hospital, we just came up with multimodality treatments for pain, where you have to give multiple relaxers. Now you give
right.
And you do all these things to help it. But opioids was what we used, and fentanyl was what I had when I was in labor with my child. Hello? So
it comes from Asia. I know.
And you know, it's powerful, but I don't think the intention of the medical world was to contribute to this opioid crisis, because we are having the impact of it through the mental health, through the homeless, you know, people who are coming in who don't care for themselves very well, because this gives this temporary state of relief where they don't have to deal with their own reality. And so they're seeking to be in that space at all the time. Right. So and what's funny is we're trying to say, okay, let's get away from this. Tylenol IV is potent. Tylenol IV is just as strong as anything else, but the cost of it is so expensive that insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies are too high, and insurance companies don't want to pay for it and reimburse the hospital. So even if you're trying to get off of it and try to, you know, address this opioid crisis financially for those that don't have, right? You can't do it.
Well, they got MAT. You know MAT? Medicated assisted treatment. So that's like Suboxone. MAT, medicated assisted treatment. So it's an opioid too. So you got Suboxone, methadone.
Right.
You know, so those are all medicated assisted treatments. Right. Whereas you're not doing street heroin anymore, but we're giving you the MAT so that you can feel comfortable and not be sick. Like back in my time, dope was real. So I could do dope, and then if I want to kick, I could kick for 3 days. I might be throwing up, body aches, tremors, cravings, fatigue, weakness. All that's on my body psychosocial. The list goes on and on. You know what I'm saying? Sweats, tremors for 3 days. Okay, but after 3 days, I'm good. I'm back healthy. As long as I got no internal problems or no pre-existing issues, right? This is back then. But now, the dope is not real. It's all chemical. So now, if you want to kick, you have to go to the hospital, or you could almost die. It's giving you the same effect. It's giving you the same effect, the same feeling, the same dysphoria, but the withdrawal symptoms are severe. They call it not post-acute withdrawal. They call it they call it what do they call it? Precipitative withdrawal. That's the clinical termination. They call it precipitative withdrawal. I go in the patient's room to go do a psychosocial, because we do it on the second day there, because first day is blackout. They can't get out of bed. I gotta make the nurse's station where I put a note in each time I do it. I'm sorry to take up so much time. I mean,
when you let me ask you, when you with the drugs, right? When I got my hip replacement, they prescribed oxycodone for me for the pain and morphine, right?
Opiates.
So when I took them, I was so scared because it just seemed like I can go somewhere inside my brain and don't come back to reality. So I said, I'm going to do this on the muscle. I'm going to recover on the muscle. I'm going to just take Tylenol. That's it. I'm not going to take these opiates and, blah, blah. And so I'm sitting in the cafeteria, and a nice young lady I work with, just like Tanya and Sheila and Sia, Jackie, just smart, nice young lady. I was just having a conversation and telling them, when I told her that I'm going to throw these oxycodone and the morphine away, she said, what? She said, Tap, I'll give you $10 a pill.
That's what they do.
I became a drug addict that quick with a girl that I would never even think. I'm not a drug addict, a drug dealer. I mean, this stuff, this
she probably got you, Tap. She probably got you, because if they was oxycodone 25s, you could have got $25 a pill.
Yeah, and she got, listen, Ed, they was 30s. They was oxycodone 30s.
Okay, so that's more than $10 a pill. Right or wrong?
And then I had the morphine. I don't know how many milligrams of morphine, but I wasn't taking it because that shit, man, that's you high, man. That's a high. Yeah. So anyway, I got scared because, and you know why she told me she wanted to, I said, nah, because at first I said, nah, I can't do that to you, sweetheart. She said, no, Tap, I'm cool, I get very bad, like 7-day periods. And I need it, and it's good for you,
Oh, wow.
And she meant that. I believe she meant that. So these drugs are used as just regular respiration, these oxycodone. People,
no, but some of them are, it's necessary for the pain, because this is what you got to understand too, Tap. When you have a pain, and I think, Miss, you work in a hospital, you could agree with me. So if you have a headache, right, and you take an aspirin for that headache, it's gonna go take care of the headache. But if you take an aspirin and you don't have a headache, it's gonna do something else. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, well, it won't have a negative effect. It's just not treating anything, because remember, it attaches to the neurosensors that's causing that problem.
Circuits, yep.
But it will, I think the thing I was, it could potentially depend on your comorbidities, whatever else you're going, I don't know, it's individualized, but it should not cause any damage. But yes, what you're saying is right, that if you take it and you have
going to the problem. You're taking it for it to go to the problem.
Right.
If you don't have a problem, you take it, it's going to have another effect. And that's where like the euphoria comes in, the numbness, all that stuff, That's basically what it comes from.
You got a new nickname.
What's that one?
Dr. Eddie Blair.
I'm not there yet. I'm just Eddie CADC.
Man, listen, man. You just gave me all kinds of remedies and whatnot, man. I ain't know you had all this in you, brother.
I got more in me, man. I got more in me. Like I said, this is not work for me. I can't wait to get tomorrow. Do you know the hallway that starts on the unit that goes to the nursing station? You know what I call that? 42nd Street. They wild up in there, man.
Yeah.
They wild, and you got to deal with that. But I know you got some more questions. We didn't even begin to bend the surface.
I know. I have you know what? At this part of the show, Lori always likes for us to do a little bit of current event. Lori, is it too soon for our current event? Do you want to go a little more with the show, or did you want to go current event?
Guys, I think we have an outstanding panel today with some really strong personalities. And Mr. Eddie Blair has a strong personality. And we got, the ladies of the chat here. And Queen Sia, kind of shy.
Tap told me they was going to jump on me. Tap told me they was going to jump over me.
And so we have Queen Sia with us. So I know she got some opinions. And in studio, we have Megalicious, who is a devoted follower.
All the way from Phoenix in the house.
All the way from Phoenix.
Okay.
And so I just want to toss it up a little bit. Following in the footsteps of my girl, Shelly C. She does our entertainment segment. And in the news lately, there has been Dr. Dre and his wife. Right?
And divorce.
And the divorce. And the $2 million a month. I just would like to throw out there like a steak to the wild animals. Who thinks she deserves the $2 million? They ruled against her. But do you think that ruling was fair? The floor is open. Bam.
I honestly think that it wasn't fair. It wasn't good. And I'm glad they ruled against her.
What?
Okay. I saw some big press in there.
I agree.
Wow.
Tanya Michelle.
Sometimes we got to give the brothers a break. Sometimes we got to give the brothers a break. And if we see something that's too extreme, you have to voice your opinion on it. And I thought when I first read about that story, I said, what is she doing? Like, is she trying to break him down completely?
But he's Dr. Dre.
Because it was horrible.
The beef dude.
Horrible.
But do you
he got
you can't own he has enough money to cover these expenses? And what about the security factor, Sia? Shelly, I know you had some ideas about this. Can you chime in for us tonight, sis? Unmute your mic, Shelly C.
You're on mute.
Your mic. Your mic, mama.
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
I know you was talking. I saw your mouth moving.
I might be a little biased because I've been in her position.
That's right.
So I might be biased, but my thing is we can all look at a certain amount of money and say that's too much money. But my lifestyle, how I live, and my expenses, I don't think anybody can judge that because you don't know what it takes to run my household. You don't know what it takes to raise my kids. You don't know what it takes, baseball practices, college tuition, car insurance, cell phone. You don't know any of those things to make the judgment whether it's too much for me or not. So I'm opposed, and I might get how do you say it? I might get attacked, but because I've been in her position, I don't think anybody can tell me what's too much money if you haven't walked in my shoes. Cause see,
I agree. You
can't tell me because maybe to somebody that might live in a certain area, maybe $500 a month is too much. Based on their
agree.
Can I say something?
But if I've been married to you for 20 to 30, maybe 30 years, if I've been married to you and I've been used to a certain lifestyle, how can you on the outside tell me what's too much?
Right.
See, I agree.
I agree. I've been married to you 20 years. We should be able to sit down and talk about what's fair.
Thank you.
Without crackers in our business.
And that's what happened.
That affects us, and just as it affects us, it affects the kids too. Because I've been through it too. I got 7 kids, 4 different women, 2 the second married. I went through something like that. I had it where I'm not trying to judge any woman out here, but it would take anything for me to say that she wasn't trying to use the child against me.
Well, I can't say that I did that.
And use the system.
But to this day, I have somebody
against me.
I was married to that supports me. So I can't say because he never battled me in it. But I can tell you that somebody on the outside looking in, you can't tell me what's too much money.
No, you're right. I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
I have something to say with this, and I think you're absolutely right, Shelly. However, I'm not convinced that when she was married to him, she was spending $2 million a month.
So we don't know that. We don't know that.
Wait a minute.
She's just not convinced.
No, I said I'm not convinced. I don't know. But I believe that you should be able to have the same life that you were living, but I don't think it's $2 million a month. And I think
that somebody got mad.
Yeah, and I think
Tanya Michelle, It is. She's
Yeah,
got
she's
private
mad.
cooks and
Somebody is
chefs
mad right
and
now,
all of those
and
things.
they trying to get up in
Somebody
their
mad.
pocket.
That's what I say.
Somebody
Maybe
mad.
750,000, but not
Somebody's
2
mad.
million.
Party.
I
Mad.
promise you
They
that
want to
there
get
may
up in
be
their
some
pocket.
situations. There may be some situations where someone is mad. But let me tell you, again, you cannot tell me the lifestyle that I lived when I was married to you for 20 to 30 years. You cannot tell me that I have to live something different. I'm
You're
entitled
absolutely
to
right.
that in California.
You're absolutely right.
Shelly C, I just got to break in. It's Lori G. I'm everywhere. I'm all over the studio right now. So I just have something that's going to shake it up.
She gonna remarry.
Does the effects of
That's a good point.
physical abuse
That's a good point.
change the $2 million limit?
Yes.
Did I get more because I was physically abused? Go.
Yes. If I dealt with your shit, yes.
Physical abuse and what
Yes.
type of abuse was it? And how do we know it wasn't
Physical
mutual?
abuse, mental abuse.
I like that one. I like that one.
Mental
Well,
abuse
what
could be
type of
worse than physical abuse.
abuse was it? What type of abuse was it?
Mental abuse
Okay,
could be
so-
worse than
And I
She
agree.
should have got it.
And I agree with
They should have just gave it
maybe
to
she
her.
was
They
abused
shoulda-
to him.
I agree with what Tweed said in the comment. He said it's fair, but what if? But as long as you don't remarry, what happens if you remarry or get a new boyfriend? Or not
Then
a
it
new
goes
boyfriend,
away.
a new
Done.
life?
Dead.
It's
You're
done.
dead.
Oh, that's it.
It
You're
becomes
not
the next
supporting
man's
that
problem.
other guy, not in California. I don't know
That's it.
anywhere else, but you're not supporting that other guy. Once she marries somebody else, that person has to take over.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I believe that.
Yes.
Fair.
That's true.
I know, because like I said, I'm living it.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Then I guess that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
it's fair. My
But,
kids.
you know, something tells me that $2 million.
I'm not saying it's fair with that. I don't know, but I'm saying it's fair as far as if that's what the judge
$2
ruled.
million for Dr. Dre, I don't think it's a big deal.
No,
Exactly. Not a
That's
big
the other
deal.
thing. You
I
have
don't think it's a big deal.
Chump change.
That's
Sia
$24
says
million
that we need to give a brother a
$2
break.
million
What
a
you think,
month.
That's
Sia?
the most
Queen Sia?
important factor, though.
I just, but for
agree.
Dr. Dre,
I agree.
$2 million a month. You say
The
$2
Hold
million?
on.
important factor is what
Wife
is
also
that
wanted
$2
to
million?
trademark his name.
I think
And keep
his money real long.
That's what I'm saying.
It is.
And
Him
him
alone.
and the lifestyle
No.
that they live. How much is that 2 million? That 2 million, like I said, may be a lot to us.
Dr. Dre
But
said.
compared to what he brings in a
For him,
month,
I don't
it
think
might
it's
be
a
a
lot.
quarter. It might be a fourth. It might be a third.
Like I said, somebody is mad.
One visit to
Somebody mad.
Bergdorf Goodman, and we're there. We're there. We're halfway there.
Ed,
One stop. You guys
Ed,
know that.
Ed,
I look at that. I look at
I
that
would say
like,
the
you know
compromise
what?
is 500K.
How much he worth, chap?
I look at that like, you know what?
820 million.
When it comes to the
820
black
million?
woman,
He's
when
worth
it comes to
820
the black woman, it's always if it would have been a white woman and her husband, and it wouldn't have been
It
no
wouldn't have been
thing.
too much. It wouldn't have been
That
too
just
much.
would have been, yeah, that just would have been, oh,
Would've been
okay,
nothing.
well,
Would've been nothing.
he got it, you know. But that's just how it is. We always get taken down some kind of way and then get criticized because we're doing that. He shouldn't have had a problem with, or he could have went and said, well, hey, I'll give you 19 or I'll give you 18, you know, but give her what she wants because of all this time. You could have talked about that, but he's so busy caught up in whatever he doing
Something
or
else.
whatever,
Something
whoever
else.
in his pocket,
Right.
you know, he ain't thinking about this woman that you've been married to all this time. You've been doing, I mean, okay, there's a rift. Somebody could be mad, but guess what? She ain't saying that for no reason at all. She know how long his pockets is. So she know, but then that's just how it go. And whoever the judge was, whether he black or white, he sure enough don't want to see a black woman with a whole lot of money because he knows she gonna do damage because she got power already.
Hey, yeah, let me ask you. What is the reason they broke up? What did they say when they broke up?
Do we know what Nicole what's her name?
Yeah.
What she did before?
She's an attorney, dude.
She was an attorney? Okay.
Dre's wife?
That don't matter. It
Dre's
don't
wife
matter if
attorney?
what she was doing before that.
Exactly.
Even if she
I
was
just
doing
asked.
something
I
else.
didn't-
Oh, okay. But I would say
I'm
whatever
just
she was
asking.
doing before that, she could have been a stripper on the pole. It don't matter. All them years she did that. You know, you can't look back in the past. You got to
Again,
look
like
at
I
what's
said,
How much
happening
did she get
now.
awarded? How much did she get awarded?
I don't think it's final yet.
It's not final yet.
still
But like I
going
said, what may be a lot to some of us or to us may not be a lot to Mr. Dre. I'm just
but did they say
It's a lot. I don't give it.
That's a lot of
Shelly,
dollars.
did they say why they're breaking? What is the
Nah,
reason
it
they're
don't
breaking
matter
up,
where it's
Shelly?
coming from. 2 mil is
That's a
still.
lot.
the reason
2 billion is not a lot of money.
there's a lot of
And you got 800 and something million.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
rumors
not that
behind
much.
it, but you know, they just had
And he's probably gonna make another 800 something million for us all.
irreconcilable.
It's not. You know, once you get to that level, you're a cartoon. You're on a Kellogg's. You're in a box of Kellogg's, man. You're not even real.
I have
You don't carry money. You don't even carry money. You walk into somewhere and it's just like you don't pay nothing.
There was a gentleman.
He's on a whole different level, man.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And
You know
there
what I'm
was
saying? It's not
came on here and
Michael Jordan, all those guys. They're like cartoons. They're not real. They're just
a guy.
Nobody cares. They don't have to spend money. They don't have to go in their pocket for nothing.
Right.
They're not
I remember
carrying
that,
any
Shelly.
money on.
Yes, I do. I remember a gentleman that came on
I
here.
remember that.
He said, "It ain't no thing. Let her have it. She's got the kids. I can go out and make some more. Let her
Hey,
have it."
Shelly, who said that? Who
And
said
it's
that?
gonna
I
make
remember
more.
that. Who was
Dr.
that?
Dre is gonna make more.
Brown.
He's gonna always make it more as long as
He's
he's
the
got.
only man that
You know the music business.
the only man.
They're making money. Snoop, all of them, they all making money.
Well, guess what? I'm saying, okay, I see, that's 24 million a year. So 3 years, we talking 72 million.
Yeah.
That's 3 years, so shit.
So what if,
right now he got 800.
That should add up. If you're not making it, if you're not making it that way anymore.
her house note is 50 million?
But she can't get it. She can't get that for the rest of her life.
I'm fighting for
She
that.
can't get that for the rest of her life.
What if her house note is 50 million? Like I said, there are some men who are okay with that. I'm going to tell you that there are
For the
some
rest of her life?
that.
She's getting that for the rest of her life?
Until she marries again.
I am devil's advocate today. I'm just all over the studio, just dropping stuff everywhere. So I got another thing. I remember the gentleman, Shelly C., who said, let her have that money. That was Chico Brown. Remember that?
Chico's a baller.
Chico. Now, Chico gave
baller.
us the inside story. You guys remember?
Yes.
Chico said
Yes.
they both like the same kind.
Yes.
They was both chasing the
Sure did.
same.
She put up with
And
all
that's
the-
why she should get 2 million. What y'all think about that? Does that change it?
Exactly.
No.
Say that again? I missed that one. Say that again? They both like the same
Play on the
thing?
same team. They both play on the same team, and that's why Nicole is
Okay,
leaving.
you gotta excuse me.
That's a low blow.
I'm kind of slow. Now I think I know what you're saying.
That's a blow to the manhood.
So don't that
I won't go there.
that put a different
Yo,
spin on it?
Oh, you talking about down with the
Hey, she
LGBT?
definitely knows some secrets. She knows
Is that
some
what you're
things.
saying?
Exactly.
And
Yes.
Dre will probably pay her to
From
keep.
her stream.
Right.
Yes.
So if I
And we
put
say
up
that for another show.
with 30 years of you liking the same thing as me, if I put up with that, don't you think it's worth 2 million?
That's why I'm asking.
Don't ask me.
I know she's concerned for her safety, though. And she wants her own security, but they won't give her the money till she can get her own security.
I'm just saying.
Because she doesn't trust Drake.
Is he really doing that?
But listen,
Oh, man.
Don't trust him. At the end of the day, we know where he's from.
Like I
Is he
said,
doing
I
that?
know I'm living.
What'd you say, Tanya?
what I don't understand, Shelly, is when you say, I have a question. So what I don't understand is if I put up with that, you made a choice to put up with it.
No, we might have had a deal. We
Wait,
might
wait,
have.
I'm just saying no. Somebody, if she stayed there, either she made a choice because of her lifestyle, she made a choice because she liked what she was living, she made a choice because of the kids, she made a choice because of the image, she made a choice. Every day in our marriages, we make choices to deal with whatever we deal with for whatever reason. So now that you decide that you no longer gonna deal with it, it costs me money.
No.
One word, guys. Prenuptial.
Because the law says
One of those.
Yo, check this out.
the law says as long as I deal with it, the amount of years I deal with it, the more money I get. That's what the law says. So if I stay in there
Repeat the law again.
past 10 years and dealing with it, you owe me.
What's it?
That's the state law.
You know what? You know what though?
Because it
I'm
sounds
gonna
like,
tell you- yo,
I
hey,
mean, it
hold
sounds
up.
like you really don't want to say it. Because you
Yo.
say they both like the same thing.
Hey, what you think about this, Ed? I'm pretty lucky, and some of us is lucky. You know, it's good to be broke. Because of the mere fact, my wife was with me for 20 years, broke out on my ass, and I ain't give her shit.
But if it wasn't that much money, you wouldn't care.
Huh?
If it was,
but
pennies,
that's why
it's
saying
the amount that makes you care.
I feel
why
bad.
is that? Why is the amount?
The amount is what makes you care. If it was pennies, you wouldn't give a damn.
Okay, so he's got 800 something million, and she wants 2 million from him.
So he got 600.
So here we got two people that are in the $1 million bracket, right? They lived in the $1 million bracket. They lived the lifestyle and all that. It sounds to me that you got two unhappy people.
And he got 6 million left over. Hello.
And then the kids. How's the kids? What's happening with the kids after that? How are they gonna deal with
that part? That's where the 2 million comes in. You still got 6 left.
See, right, Lori?
She grown.
The daughter of SC.
The kids is grown, ain't they?
But
no one is at SC for sure.
Why does it have to be a money thing on it? I'm saying like the money.
They got like 10 kids, but they only have 1 kid together.
So let me ask you, then what is enough?
Okay, then if we're doing that, then
that's something that you're gonna have to.
What's enough?
Okay, then instead of a month, just give her 10 million flat.
A one-time.
Yeah, I think that's what they're gonna do. This is temporary.
Oh no!
I think this is temporary.
That's pennies.
You're entitled to that. Right. What the judge is going to do, the judge is going to sit down and figure out how much that is per month, and if that is a month enough for the rest of her life or until she marries or dies. So you could choose.
Wait, you talking about alimony or child support?
Both.
Oh.
Because child support is going to go to the kid.
The kid is grown though.
After he's finished school.
When they agree on the age, they can agree on 18 or 25, whatever age they agree on.
Right, that's what it goes to.
Support ends, but the alimony goes for life or until she marries or dies. So
no, the alimony doesn't always go for life. Alimony can go for.
Yes, it does. Hello.
I just told you I'm on my second marriage.
I'm on.
Oh, y'all in California. Y'all crazy over there.
Yeah, Cali, we get the money. Get the money.
Yeah.
California.
New York a half state.
Wait a minute, Shelly, did the 2 million a month, was that flat or she still can touch into all the assets?
That was temporary.
That was a temporary order, right? It was a temporary order, T.
Until they figured out what they were going to do.
She probably get 800 a month.
$800?
800,000.
800,000.
800,000 a month.
Oh, 800,000. Okay, I was going to say $800. No.
$800.
They ain't doing shit.
Hey, you got to shoot for the moon. You might get the stars.
Yeah, you always go big because they probably gonna give it like
They go big, they go low. You
okay, at least 800.
Right, because
when you're looking for a
this
job,
is what you call bargaining.
What do you do when you're looking for a job?
What's the other incentive? She don't need no job. 800 a month. She get 800,000 a month.
No, what I'm saying is, what do you do for when you're looking for a job? You shoot high, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shoot for the moon, you might get the stars.
Right.
Just might.
But she's doing the right thing.
You're gonna try to go for the highest, and maybe they might shoot below or in the mid range of what you really want, right? So you go for the highest.
I think the lesson is don't sign no prenuptial agreement.
Don't sign it, huh?
You can still get by
I
that.
have a question, panel.
You can still get by
Another
that.
question.
That's for the property, Tanya. That's just for the property.
No, but you
I
can
have
still
another
get by that,
question.
too.
Would it make a difference if the gender roles were switched? If Nicole had 800 million net worth and Dre was the attorney, and he wanted to
Listen.
Yeah.
And Callie would, and don't think that
yeah, it would be the same.
I want $2 million from you because we
if the
divorced.
gender roles were switched, what do you think?
Yeah.
Don't think that there's not some man won't ask.
No, it's not cool.
Yeah, it'll probably be the same.
No.
That would be the same.
I'm gonna tell you what. A man scoring is different than a woman scoring. I'm gonna tell you something.
Black man, they gonna give a black man $2 million a month.
I'm sorry, Eddie, but I know some men that ask and they get it.
Huh?
I do know some men who have asked and got it. So
Right.
don't think that it's different. I don't know about in New York, but in California, if she makes more than you and you asking for it and he sits down and looks at those finances, he's gonna get it.
Y'all some bad motherfuckers.
Yeah, just like POJ Block.
Because they ain't doing it here.
Yeah, Wild West.
Marriages.
They doing it here. If you a Mr. Mom,
that's like we still slaves.
If you a Mr. Mom, you gonna get it in Cali.
Want to get married? Yeah.
Come to Cali.
Yeah. One thing I can say about LA that I always loved, the hospitality. The hospitality in LA is like kind of like a southern hospitality. Like, you guys always are welcoming people. They always welcome me into their homes. They always have food. They love to eat. And it's different than New York is more cutthroat. But LA, they're very welcoming people. They're very loving people.
Like I said, I know some moms that are getting it, that have asked. So don't think it don't go both ways.
Well, I haven't gone with my experiences in child support and visitation and all that stuff. And I don't have no money like that. And I paid child support before. And to be honest with you, child support was not a problem for me long as I was working. If I was in between jobs or something like that, those weeks come up fast. And they'll come after your ass. But I took care of it. All my shit is solid. I can honestly say I could pop my collar because I paid all mine. And I also, at one point, I was a single parent with a daughter and didn't get no child support and didn't try to go after child support from her mother because I was capable of taking care of her. I just wanted a mother to make sure. And her mother wasn't on drugs or nothing, but I just wanted to make sure. Her mother went through a bad death. Her mother died. Mm-hmm. And, she just, when you go through that grief and you see somebody going through that, I ain't going to put you through it, even though she probably definitely did it to me. She probably would have tried to get me. But I'm not like her because she even said, so I guess you're going to put me on child support. I said, no, I ain't like you. I'm not putting you on child support. I don't need your money. I just need you to be a mother to my daughter, our daughter. She's living here with me. You come here, you can't live here, but you can be, cordial to my moms and all in the family and be a mother. That didn't go well as time went on because my daughter used to always come to me and say, Daddy, how come my mother doesn't love me? Mm-hmm. I had to hear that stuff. And that played a part on me too. That played a big part on me. It really took me through a loop a lot of times because you want your kids to always be happy. But I can see now that my daughter, she's working through that now. Because she was listening to all those promises and her mother was making promises she couldn't keep. And then, she's carrying resentment because I guess a lot of people thought, because I was in my addiction then too, but I always took care of home. You know what I'm saying? So I guess a lot of people thought I was going to fail, but I didn't. Now my daughter has 2 children of her own and she's married. And she comes here all the time. She tells my mother and all of how she's proud of the fact that she came up here because now she knows how to take care of her own family. But then she'd go through stuff with her mom that I had to tell her, wait a minute, you can't. I know it hurts, but you can't continue to hold that against your mother because who you hurting? You're hurting yourself. And your kids are seeing that. So we have to learn how to forgive. Because if we can't forgive, we can't expect nobody to forgive us.
Panel, I have a comment from our Facebook viewers. I have Mr. Daryl Barnes and several individuals in the house tonight. Hello, Mr. Gary Nash. Daryl is saying that a man would look like a punk asking for alimony. He is not in agreement of that. Men should be able to fish and get their own money. What do you guys think about that?
I agree.
You agree, Miss Sia?
I agree with that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna feel
Meg, I agree.
Meg too.
And men don't have the babies and take care of the children and be at home while the man makes the money.
Exactly.
I mean, they can.
I don't care if she got $1 million. I don't want to.
Yeah, because the roles of genders, they've been so cloudy as of late, where it's like, there really isn't a design or designated role as there was like back in the day, because but the man can be the one that stays at home while the woman goes out and actually works, or it could be flipped. So yeah, but bottom line is that if a man was to ask for the alimony, yeah, but it would definitely make him look a lot weaker.
Yeah. And still, even though
let me ask you this: why would that be?
men still make more money than women in the same position. And
Yeah,
that's still the same.
That got the kids? What if he was the one that stayed home with the children, that took them to school, that nurtured them while the mother was a hardworking person?
No.
What if he was the one that sacrificed his career and stayed home with the kids, and then all of a sudden he's gone and he's got the kids? Let's just say he
get child support.
And let's just say she makes 3 times as much as he does. What's wrong with him asking?
He can get
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. What's wrong with him asking? Because I mean, we all have our own bias. We all, that's what's when you look at what's going on. There's a lot of gender stereotyping going on. Where why can't he ask for that? Why can't he get that if she has that amount?
Especially if he gets the kids and she makes 3 times as much. Like, really? Like, why can't the standards be the same? I think.
I don't know. I guess I got foolish pride, Shelly. I just can't ask. Get out of here.
But you want to limit how much I get.
Why should I even have to ask, though?
Hey, yo, listen, Ed.
Why should I even have to ask?
We live in a world.
With me, most of the time, they left me. So if they left me,
it doesn't matter.
Now I don't even want nothing.
Okay, so me and you was in love, right? At some point, we have children, we're married, or even we're not married, and we've been together for a while. So say something happens, we don't agree. Maybe I cheat, you cheat, and you don't ever want to forgive me.
Right.
So does that mean that you're supposed to just see me suffer now? Am I supposed to just suffer because, I betrayed you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think we all should try to work with each other.
Yes.
Because there's got to be a common good, because we have children together.
Exactly. I think that's
you want your children to see their parent.
You lose focus. Yeah. The focus is the children. It's not about, oh, that's too much money for her. Oh, I know she's going to spend on her nails and her hair. No, the focus is the children. Do not worry about what she's going to do with the money, as long as your kids are well taken care of.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna affect me too, because I'm taking care of kids. Right.
Right. But right. So
same way would you.
So you get to live up in the hills, and because you only think she should get a certain amount of money, your kids and her should be living somewhere else. Like that was not comparable to what she had.
If we can't get along,
that makes no sense.
Get along, they gotta live on another hill.
Right.
Exactly, another hill.
If you on a hill, I'm on a hill too with your kids.
Yeah. Or you know what? Why don't you take this house?
Yes.
And then I'm bouncing. And I'll catch up with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shelly,
what
if I got the kids, Shelly? What if I got the kids and what if I got the kids, but I'm making a lot more money? Should I give her money?
That depends on the judge. The judge is going to look at the life.
I'm asking you.
Okay, you can ask. You don't want my answer. You don't want my answer.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so my answer is, if you have the kids and you're making more money, I'm going to go to the judge and tell him to take a look at what you make versus what I make.
Oh, God.
Wait a minute. I ain't finished. And how much time I spend with the kids versus what you spend with the kids, and give me the money based on that.
No, I got the kids. They're living with me.
I spend time with my kids too. So ain't no God, you just got them.
Okay.
But you got the better job. Right?
Yeah, I do.
You got the better job. You got the better opportunity. You got more education.
The better job. Judge, based on, because my goal is my children. I'm not trying to get back at you. I'm not trying to be vengeful on you. My goal is my children. So I'm not going to worry about.
No, but wait a minute.
We can't make a mistake. You're not doing good. But let's not make a mistake that that's what happens.
Right.
That's what happens. Most times, there are cases. It's about somebody trying to get back at somebody.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's not about being vengeful.
It is. They trying to get back. Because if you know your kids is good, Matter of fact, don't even say good. Your kids are great, but you still want money?
Yes, because I
Get
want.
out of here. No. No.
I carried them for 9 months, and I get my time with them too. So yes, I do.
Okay, but there are cases where where the breakup and then the asking for receipts can be very vengeful.
Receipts
and receipt driven. Well, receipts, you know what I'm talking about.
For sure.
What do you mean by receipts?
Receipts, just basically a
spend.
tally of just the receipts.
Everything you pay for
Right.
child.
Right.
Well, let me tell you this.
And you should have that.
Should it matter though? What the couple is getting divorced for? Does that matter more than what somebody get? Like if somebody gets cheated on, say the wife gets cheated on, she's mad. It's definitely more, like you said, hate and vengefulness involved in what they want, opposed to we just getting divorced.
Well, let me just say, I don't know. I never
think
and let me ask you this, and should the judge take into account that why are you guys just getting divorced? Okay, if somebody got cheated on, that's one thing, but if you just say you want a divorce, why are you getting divorced? That's for life. This is for death.
I agree.
Why are you getting divorced?
I agree with that. It's supposed to be for life, but most people say irreconcilable differences.
Right.
Irreconcilable. That's my
There's
point.
irreconcilable differences.
Yeah, most people say that.
So if you
Right.
decide that
So
you
the
want
judge should be able to say no.
different than when I decide that I want to leave. That's not
You know what?
My first marriage, right?
the
My
law
first marriage. Can I just say something? My first marriage. I got married in 1989. I had 500 people at my wedding. I had 18 people in my wedding party. We had surf and turf, filet mignon and lobster tails, right? 4 months in, we got separated.
Oh, shit.
I had a child with her. My daughter was conceived while we were married. I had a child with her. 6 years later, I divorced. But I divorced her. She had a better job than me when we got married. So it was said that I could have took half of her 401k.
Right.
But I decided not to because I told my attorney anything that I could get as far as monetary out of this, she could be giving my daughter. Turned out 2 years after divorce, she's coming to me saying, yo, I need Noelle to stay with you for a couple of weeks because I'm getting ready to move. Noelle was 7 years old. That shit went on in Noelle. My daughter's gonna be 30 in November. She's been with me ever since she was like 21, from 7 years old to 21. And I never like looked down on her mother. I never questioned her. I always tried to find out, is she all right at what she's doing? And she was all right, but she just went through a hard time when her mother died. And don't get it twisted. Her mother and her father, they had money. Her father was the first black man to establish relations with the Italian mafia. He's in the book, Easy Money by Donald Goddard. Take this down. He's page 105. He's the first man to establish relations with the Italian mafia. They had money at one time. You know what I'm saying? Let's put it like this. Y'all heard of Nicky Barnes? Nicky Barnes was his errand boy.
I love Nicky.
Nicky Barnes was his errand boy.
Nicky Barnes.
Damn. Nicky was
his errand boy.
Oh, okay.
Get the book. It's Easy Money by Donald Goddard. He's on page 105.
Tell the last name.
My father-in-law is Leonard Aiken, Leonard Royal Aiken. He's been dead for years, but he was listed at making $6 million in the 60s a year.
I think the
And I'm not saying it to be grandiose. I'm not saying it to be bragging or nothing like that. That's my first marriage.
All right, let my man speak.
Yeah, to have it actually renewed.
G, go ahead.
That's an idea.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was saying that I think here in 2020, whatever, since beginning of time, whenever marriages were calculated and all that marriage licenses and certificates, that needs to be revisited. You know what I mean? Maybe new guidelines. I don't know how that works, but maybe needs to be written down when people decide to get married again, because, marriage is just, I don't think it's taking it serious anymore. You know, it's like you just said, you married and 6 months in, you're separated, and it's just, I don't know. It's just.
Well, you know, I was.
We have prenups and all this, but I think just
Eddie Murphy got divorced in one day.
Yeah, you see.
Oh yeah, the annulment.
I mean, people do renew their vows.
That's probably because he wasn't tripping over how much money he was gonna give her.
Well, he got crazy money.
That's why it was that quick. He wasn't tripping. He wasn't fighting her.
He had crazy money.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That's the reason.
My
I don't
opinion.
know. I agree with G. Lou. I think there should be expiration dates on marriages.
There she goes.
They should expire. If you got 25 years,
You get married, then it expires
you
for
have the
7 years.
option to renegotiate and decide if you want to continue.
That's a good
No
point.
harm,
That's a
no
good point.
foul. No,
You just get to
I agree.
I agree with that.
But you gonna make sure the dude you gonna make sure
I
the
agree
dude
with
take
that,
care,
Lord.
right?
Right, and
totally agree.
but also this would be another
totally
way
agree.
for the states and government to actually make more money off of marriages.
Okay. What the Bible say? It ain't no you think about it.
I'd have to say, hi, Michelle. Ladies and gentlemen, have you all taken a look at your clocks? JackieRadio.com. Oh, we're done with Mr. Nash's time, guys. But we're gonna get ready to still roll it out, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Poetry of Justice show with Jackie Ray Phillips on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateDradio.net. I have had an absolute amazing time, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say very special thanks to Mr. Eddie Blair, Tanya Michelle, Big Tap, Queen Sia, Shelly Sia of the chat, and of course, Miss Chris Fisher. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to give an amazing special thanks to Meg Bourne, Miss Megalicious. Yeah, from Arizona. Meg, you gotta come right here for me real quick one time so everybody can come see you. Yeah, sis. Come on right here in the center.
Megalicious.
Yeah, I know we're doing our little social distancing, but we're making it our way, guys. We back, and that's the main thing in the studio. And then I just want to give a very super special thanks, and I don't even know if there's enough energy to give a thanks, ladies and gentlemen, but we do have a radio icon in the house tonight, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Also spent some time here in LA. He's no stranger to LA land, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. The worldwide fabulous G. Lou of the G. Lou shows. So, ladies and gentlemen, so some big parties going on this weekend. So we've got G. Lou out here, and you guys want to stay tuned. Of course, you can Google this gentleman. He's all on every YouTube channel. You can find the G. Lou Show, the G. Lou Show After Hours. You definitely want to follow him on IG at the G. Lou Show. So you want to check it out. There's some big things going on. So check this gentleman out, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you all.
Right,
Thank you. Lori, Jackie.
We gotta do this again.
Love
Tap.
you too.
Love y'all.
We gotta do this again.
Shelly C.
Shelly C.
You a problem.
I love you guys. We'll be back next week. Poetry of Justice show is how we do it. Go ahead, Tap.
Hey, thank you, everybody. See you. Thanks for coming on, Jackie. G. Lou. Ed, thank you, big bro. Man, you oh, my man.
Eddie B.
It was a stone. It was a stone cold groove, my man.
All right, FaceTime.
Okay.
You're good. Facebook. I love you guys.
Bye, y'all.
Good night, guys.
Good night, Tanya.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Nice seeing you, T.
I had a question for
Let's
Eddie.
do it again.
Hey, Eddie, I had a question for you. I think we're off that I didn't get a chance to ask you.
Go ahead, I'm here.